Welcome to Late Night Today, where each show I attempt to predict the topical jokes that all of my favorite late night show hosts will be saying about a half a day from now in an attempt to make you laugh and possibly get a job as the oldest junior writer intern in the history of television. I'm your host, Sean the Storm Grant, hashtag stormpinball. We start with Kanye West, who got his campaign off to a flying start with a rousing event in Charlotte, South Carolina. He spoke on family. He also discussed civil rights.
Well, Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
In related news, Kanye West's barber was found in the woods of one of the nearby counties and was taken into custody. At first, I was concerned that West could potentially split votes away from Biden. But after this performance, that is no longer a fear of mine. The only real tough decision that needs to be made now is by real-life election, vote for the worst chairman, Vladimir Putin, as to where to spend his considerable funds and resources for a campaign that could do more damage to America. Sure, he said some nasty things about Harriet Tubman for some unknown reason, but he still might know that Frederick Douglass is indeed dead. So is how you say 50-50. Maybe we go with bird in hand, or maybe new blood. Tough decision. You gotta figure that Putin will be involved again in 2020, even with heightened security and scrutiny of Facebook and other social media, because when he hatched this Bond villain level plan to elect the most incompetent and disastrous president in the history of this country, that he couldn't have known it would go half as well as it has. He probably figured Trump would cause a little bit of damage, get involved in a gaffe or a scandal or two, and then he'd be impeached within 2 years after his sociopathic policies and blatant hate and racism were laid bare. Instead, we've had to endure 4 years of this clown show, watched as armed militias have taken over public buildings and black people have been murdered in the streets, just preceding unmarked federal agents ostensibly kidnapping people who protested the said murders. Putin will be playing with the House's money for years to come from this successful project. The only question that remains is, why have we allowed things to go this far? In other news, Republicans are now beginning to slowly distance themselves from Trump in an attempt to salvage the Senate, since the poll numbers are so bad for the November election, that they are actually bracing themselves for the possibility of losing both the presidency and both houses of Congress. I think that the real story, however, is that Trump's approval ratings are dropping now. Who is the person being polled that was cool with the travel ban, the separation of immigrant children from their families and then the placement of them in cage camps, the paying off of porn stars and the disastrous responses of COVID, Black Lives Matter, and the bounties being placed on the heads of American soldiers, but is starting to think, you know what, maybe that guy isn't so great after all. I'm starting to have some misgivings about this Trump fella. Personally, I don't think that Trump's number can go any lower, because I don't think that there's any other group that he can possibly offend or damage, but we shall see. That's our show for today. It will be fun to see how many of my jokes were used or done in a different way by my favorite late night hosts. For Late Night Today, representing hard work and talent, I'm Sean the Storm Grant, hashtag stormpinball on both Instagram and Twitter. Please like, subscribe, and be notified, and stay safe and healthy. We'll see you next time.